The music news for the streets, the music news for your beats, the news for the music stuff that you gonna need. We gon' talk about plugins, we gon' talk about gear. If it's news on this music, we gon' talk about it here. Let's go.
Welcome to the music news for the streets. I'm your anchor man, SumnSumnSumn. Hit the keys. And in today's newscast, we have all kinds of exciting stories from a giveaway, 4 freebies, more trash news from Spotify. But our top story today comes from Apple and Logic. It looks like Logic just got a major update headlined by AI mastering. Somewhere right now, Ableton users are punching the air. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the story. So as we see here, we have the new AI mastering. We're actually gonna go into that a little more detail in just a moment. So let's go ahead and cover a few of the other things that they have going on here. They've got 32-bit recording now. They've got some new packs. So they've got hybrid textures, Vox Melodics. Hybrid textures is built all around Sample Alchemy. Sample Alchemy is also one of the new tools. It was on the iOS version, but now we get it on the full desktop version. With this, you can take samples, you can chop up the samples, and then you can play it as like a playable instrument, which is very solid. As we look down here, they also have Beat Breaker Solid 2, because Beat Breaker is a multi-effect shuffler, slicer, and scratcher so that you can do all kinds of things with your samples, like chop them up and move them around and scratch with them and all kinds of stuff. Like I said, Sample Alchemy, it's a cool, granular, addictive, and spectral sample manipulator. They've got Slip and Rotate. It's a tool for moving audio and software instrument materials inside a region, something that's common in video software, but not too much in DAWs. Then as you look here, they've got a bunch of other features here as well. Let's go ahead and hop into Logic for a few moments and check out this new AI mastering though, because it's definitely solid. So when you hop into Logic, what you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna drop your 2-track over here, or if you wanna master your full mix. I don't roll like that, but I know there's some animals out there who computer may have the CPU to do it. This M1 Mac probably does, but we're still old school. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna come down here to mastering on your master track, and then boom, it's gonna bring up the AI mastering for you. It's automatically gonna analyze your track for you and create a mastering chain. So boom, it's already got the mastering chain up here for us. What comes in this is you're gonna get control over dynamics. You have a LUFS meter over here, so you can turn the loudness up, and you can definitely win the loudness war with this thing. Down here, you can spread the audio too as well. So you have width controls. You can reanalyze certain sections. So you can highlight certain sections of the mix and reanalyze that. You've got bypass, you've got loudness compensation. Over here, you've got a few different characters. You've got clean, valve, punch, and transparent. So this is gonna be the character of the mix. They say that valve is good for hip hop and trap, so we're gonna put it on valve. And then you also have a custom EQ control over here. So with the custom EQ, you can turn that on or off. If you turn it on, you have control over these bands over here. So you get 3 different bands that you can boost. And then you can also move the EQ knob up and down. So when you pull it down, it's gonna make the mix more flat. When you push it up, it's gonna exaggerate those EQ curves a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and push bypass real quick and let you guys hear what the track sounded like initially. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn the bypass off while the singing's going. And I'm gonna go back and forth so you can hear the difference.
I need the real thing, not no version cracked and blown. I need the real thing, don't want you to leave me alone. I need the real thing, not no version cracked and blown. If you're the real thing, come on baby, let's.
So as you guys can tell there, it definitely does a pretty good job of mastering without even messing with any of these controls. Shout out to my guy Bam Vox for singing that chorus on this track. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and mess with the loudness, the width, and then I'm gonna pause it and come back, and I'm gonna mess with the EQ a little bit so you guys can hear what it sounds like. So I'm gonna go ahead and push play and start with dynamics. So if you looked over here at the LUFs, it definitely brought those up just a little bit. You could raise them up, I think, as much as 7 on this thing. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this back down just a little bit, pull the width down a little bit, and I'm going to mess with this EQ. And so basically, as you can rise this up and it'll basically just take up sections. You can move the dots over just a little bit, but you can only move them over so far. So boom, you can move this one over a little more than you can move the high pass though. But let's go ahead and push play and adjust some of these EQ curves.
I need the real thing, not no version cracked and blown. I need the real thing, don't want you to leave me alone. I need the real thing, not no version cracked and blown. If you're the real thing, come on baby, let's.
So as you can tell, it definitely brought out some of that high end as I added a little bit to this high end shelf over here. The last thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to mess with this right here. So basically we're going to exaggerate the EQ curves using their knob or their lever.
I need the real thing, not no version cracked and blown. I need the real thing, don't want you to leave me alone. I need the real thing, not no version cracked and blown. If you're the real thing, come on baby.
So definitely a very solid tool for mastering, especially if you already have Logic. I would definitely recommend messing around with this thing. Ableton, you guys are on the clock. All right, guys, and our next story today is from Spotify, and it's about how they intend on robbing artists. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the story. So as first reported last week by Music Business Worldwide, they told us the 3 changes to Spotify, but the biggest change was that Spotify was looking to demonetize artists who only got a certain amount of views, but we didn't know how many views it was at the time. Well, it looks like that threshold is going to be 1,000 plays a year. So 1,000 plays a year could be roughly $5. Again, I know that $5 isn't a whole lot, but when you have to pay DistroKid or whatever platform to upload your music, you should get paid your royalty. So as we see here, MBW has subsequently confirmed with sources close to conversations between Spotify and music rights holder that 1,000 streams will indeed be the minimum yearly play count volume that each track on the service has to hit in order to start generating royalties in Q1. For a lot of people, that may not be a big deal. For me, that's not really a big deal either because I don't really upload a whole lot of music to Spotify. But I think it's jacked up for the young up and coming artists because again, they're paid to put their music on these platforms. So it is royalties that is being taken from them. I know a lot of people out there are saying, well, YouTube has a minimum threshold, so on and so forth. But the biggest difference is that with music, this is royalties, and B, you are paying to put your music on this platform. With YouTube, you're not paying to put your videos on this platform. You get to upload and do whatever you want for free. So that's a huge difference. Maybe if Spotify would allow you to put your music on the platform for free, some of us artists would feel different about this. Who is this really going to affect? Well, a lot of people it's going to affect are, let's say you're an artist and you put out a track. Your track has 100,000 views on it, but you put the track out 2 years ago. Now the track may only be getting 700 views a year or whatever. So you still should be compensated for the hard work you've already put in. You've already passed the threshold, but now you don't pass the threshold in a year, so you can't make your royalties off your songs anymore because you're probably not going to be promoting the songs in your back catalog. Most people aren't going to pay or put a lot of time and effort into promoting their past back catalog because they're working on their next track. So that's stupid. Or like, let's say I have 15 songs on the platform. I have 10 of the songs that are over the 1,000 view threshold. Why can't I get paid for my other 5 songs? You know what I'm saying? Like that's another difference between YouTube as well. Once you hit the threshold on YouTube, you get paid for every video. It doesn't matter if it's only got 5 views. It doesn't matter if it's got 1,000 views. You're still going to get paid for every single video that you put on the platform. And then another thing to think about is that like Sony, Universal Music Group, all these major record labels, they have a stake in Spotify. So they're basically pressuring Spotify to take money away from independent artists so that they can give this money to their artist, which is jacked up. So it's like, you know, I just think that every single content creator out there needs to talk about this. We need to speak up. We need to say something about this every time we get an update so that we can make the change. Just like we made the change on everything else that we don't like in this music space, we need to be the ones to step up and say something and speak up for the person without a voice, because we're the ones that can make a change. In breaking news, it looks like Universal Audio has just made some more plugins available for UAD Spark, so you will not need the Apollo for these either. And one of those plugins is my favorite plugin from UAD, so now I can finally use it on my PC. Let's go ahead and take a look here at this story. So as we look here, it looks like they're gonna go ahead and add 4 more plugins to their native plugins. So they're gonna add this capital chamber reverb. They're gonna add this distressor, which is a very solid compressor. They're gonna add this manly EQ. And my favorite of all the UAD plugins, this Avalon 737. Look guys, when I tell you guys, every time that you see me do any kind of video with one of my condenser microphones in front of me, I am using this Avalon 737 on my Apollo. I basically burn it into all the audio, so I run it through that and then I'm running it through my DSP. So before it hits the computer, I have this Avalon on there, makes everything sound super crispy. Definitely one of my favorite plugins. As we look right now over here at Plugin Boutique, they are currently running a deal on what they call the UAD Signature Edition. It's an upgrade from any UAD plugin. So if you got that free LA2A last month, like I told you guys to grab, you can get 44 plugins for $299. UAD plugins are top of the line. That Avalon 737 is gonna come in there. Let's take a look at some of the plugins that are gonna come in here. So as we see here, you're gonna get the 1176 collection, you're gonna get an API compressor, API channel strip, you're gonna get this Avalon 737, this chorus pedal, the Capital Chambers reverb, you're gonna get the Capital Master compressor, Century Tube, this DBX, Electra Vintage keys, you're gonna get the distressor. Yo, when I tell you how mad I am, I paid $150 for Avalon 737. It was on sale when I first bought my Apollo for half off. So typically it costs $300, and now all these plugins are $299 for this 44 plugin bundle. So as you see here, I mean, just a bunch of solid stuff, all this manly Voxbox, manly stuff, this Moog right here, mini Moog, Opal, a morphing synth, just all this stuff right here is gonna come in that bundle. I can't stress enough, guys, if you were ever gonna get a bundle of plugins, these UAD plugins are definitely it. And this bundle right here is the one, probably the best bundle on all of the internet right now. And up next for you guys, before we get to the giveaway, I've got a couple of freebies for you guys today. The first freebie I got for you guys today is called Black Keys 3. This thing is perfect for trap music. It's got a few different sounds in there. It's got some bells, keys, leads, basses. I'm gonna go ahead and play this with 3 of the presets so you can hear what it sounds like. So it's got some pretty solid sounds in here. Basically, I'm just gonna go ahead and switch through some of the presets, but I'm only gonna do it on the top melody. So let's go ahead and start here with this bell sound. then this thing also comes with a few different 808s. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch to some of the 808s. What's cool is it's got this distortion on down here, so you can basically turn the distortion on and basically change the way your 808 sounds. So let's go ahead and turn it on. So with all these controls, you can definitely get your 808 to sound exactly how you want to. Let's go ahead and check out just a few more 808s. So this thing also has some pretty solid pads, so I'll just go ahead and play a few of the pads for you guys real quick so you can hear those as well. So definitely a nice little free plugin for like trap. You can use it for boom bap. You could probably use it for some lo-fi of those pads. You can definitely use it for R&B, any of those kind of genres. You can definitely make some heat with it. The next freebie I have for you guys today, you guys might have already seen floating around. It's a pretty solid little grand piano plugin. It's called Vaults Beta. So when you open up Vaults Beta, it's going to look like this. It basically only has one preset. What's cool about this one though, is that it has this reverse feature right here. It's got this offset feature right here. No, I'm not talking about Migos. I'm talking about offsetting the actual piano a little bit. It's got this smash feature, hair feature, echo, and sploosh. So you've got basically delay, reverb. This is like kind of like a drive, and this I think is like a little bit of saturation. But basically this piano sounds like this. All right, but if I turn this reverse up, I can get it to sound like this. So what I like about that reverse is it doesn't all the way end on reverse. It's like as it swells up is right when the next note hits. So listen again. So it basically makes it sound super nice, like when you're running 140 or something like this tempo. So that's solid. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this down for a second, and we're gonna mess with a few of these effects. So as we turn these up, now I like turning this echo up and then turning this reverse up. Just adds a whole lot of textures and flavor to this piano. So it can make a super basic melody sound super complex. And the next story I have for you guys today comes from the sponsor of today's video, and that is Cable Guys. It looks like Cable Guys just dropped ReverbShaper. We've been waiting for it for a long time, and it is finally here. We are also gonna give away 3 copies of ReverbShaper. Go ahead and stick with me till the end of the video so you can find out how you can win a copy for free. But as we look here with ReverbShaper, basically rhythmize your reverb. So you can draw all kinds of different LFOs, draw curves, steps, ramps, swells, all that different stuff to make some exciting, different sounding reverbs. You've got a duck feature over here, which is solid too, so you can duck it at different rates. So if you look here, as you see this peak right here, you can make the duck every time that whatever peak hits, no matter what size it is, by just basically raising the threshold up and down. So it doesn't always have to duck when something else hits. It can only duck when certain notes hit, which is solid. As we look here, there is a ton of different reverbs, styles. I've done a review on this. I did it yesterday. I'll leave the card for that in the corner so you guys can check that out. But again, I think just all these reverb types alone makes the reverb worth the $29. I'm gonna go ahead and show a little bit of the review. I wanna let you guys hear what it sounds like on some vocals, and then I'm gonna let you guys hear what it sounds on just this little basic synth hit, and just hear how you can get the reverb to sound. On this vocal, I drew no LFOs or nothing. I just used a basic reverb, one of the reverbs, and you're gonna hear it made the vocal sound special.
We could be together if you want. Don't you wanna?
All right, but then once I threw this ReverbShaper on there, I got it to sound like this.
We could be together if you want. Don't you wanna hold me?
So next I'm gonna show you what it sounds like on the synth. It's just a basic synth noise. The synth is panning back and forth. So I'm gonna let you hear what it sounds like with like a pattern drawn on there. All right, so it's kind of an interesting sound, but once I throw Shaper Box or the ReverbShaper on there, this thing's gonna sound like this. All right, now I want to let you hear what it sounds like with just a few different patterns, because again, the way that you change up these patterns is going to change the way that the whole sound sounds and the reverb sounds. So definitely a very solid reverb plugin for only $29. FabFilter, you guys need to take notes on this one. And next we have more DAW news. It's not from Ableton either. Looks like Cubase has just dropped a new version. It looks like Cubase 13 is now out. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the story. So as we see here, Cubase has been totally streamlined. It's got a fresh overhaul. I used to use Cubase 5 probably about 5 or 6 years. That was my DAW that I recorded into. Now I record into Logic. But as we see here, the GUI of the DAW looks completely different. So that's a nice little update for them. As we look down here at some of the features, it looks like they have this increase your range feature where you can just basically copy and paste a section and move it over. So basically it's Control B for us FL Studio users. And then next to that, you have what they call a new editor experience. So they say it's easier to edit with the DAW with this. Basically, they say you can edit multiple parts from within the key editor and the drum editor. You can switch between tracks with the new visibility tab and maintain an overview with the new track display. So they're just trying to add different ways to make your workflow faster. Down here might be one of the dopest features. So as you see here, they have this feature where if you're on the arrangement page, whatever track that you click on, you can have control over all the controls over here. So you have your mixer track over here off to the side tab, and you can just easily click through different tracks, and it's just gonna bring all your inserts up, your routing, your sends, your effects, all that, and you can basically dial in your sound with that. So very, very nice feature right there as well. I would like that in FL Studio. This might be the dopest feature though for a recording artist. Right here they have what they call is the ultimate vocal chain. So this is just a plugin that's built solely for vocals. So it's gonna have all your effects and everything in this one plugin. So as we see over here, you have filters, you have gates, pitch, you have a de-esser, you have a down filter, you have another compressor, you have EQ, You have character controls, so you have an exciter, a saturator, compression, another de-esser, you have another filter, EQ, so on and so forth. You have an imager, you got delay, you got reverb, and these are all going to ascend. So basically, this is your all-in-one tool for mixing down your vocals. Definitely a solid addition. Another thing that I would like to see in FL Studio and Logic. Right here, you have your progressions. So they have your chord progressions built in on pads. So it just makes it easy to play because you can play them in pad form, and you can basically, get your chords down without knowing much music theory. Right here, it looks like they've got 2 new EQs. So this is like basically emulating a Pultic EQ. Next to that, they have a new compressor. This is supposed to be for vocals. They also have this right here, and this is called Iconica Sketch. What this is made for, it's made for making orchestral scores. So they say it's got 140 articulations for 34 instruments and a compact 5 GB library. Look, Steinberg, if you're watching this, y'all need to go ahead and just send me over a copy of this so I can do a review on this. I love to mess with the new Cubase. I was a huge fan of your past programs. Right here, they've got some new additions to their sampler. So they've got some spectral effects that you can use in the sampler. They basically say the sampler track is a more creative, thanks to the stunning new spectral warp modes for extreme manipulation and powerful envelope creation. They've also got a new compressor right here. So it's supposed to emulate a classic tube compressor. Down here at the bottom, they've got a new vocoder. They've got some new packs right here. So all kinds of different packs from Grammy winning producer Beat Butcher, so on and so forth. And then a bunch of different workflow improvements. Looks like Cubase is definitely trying to step their game up. I'm gonna say this again, Ableton, y'all on the clock, dog. And before we get to this giveaway, I've got 2 more freebies for you guys today. The next freebie I have for you guys today is called Heavenly Pads. When you open up Heavenly Pads, it is going to look like this. It basically has 3 different layers. So you have 3 different pad layers that you can turn up and down. You've got attack, pan, and release on each one of those layers. You've got volume cutoff and a vibe control down here. And then you've got reverb, width, and dampening. So I'm gonna go ahead and push down some of these keys so you can hear what some of these pads sound like. So solid. I'm gonna turn off a couple of different layers. So now it's just got 1 layer on, and this 1 layer sounds like this. Another layer sounds like this by itself. And then that last layer sounds like this. So solid. I'll go ahead and go through a few of the presets so you can hear what they sound like. So if you're looking for a plugin for some pads, this is definitely a freebie, and you can go grab this one and get right to work with it. The last freebie I have for you guys today is called Magic Drum 2 by Quiet Music. So this is basically a steel drum. It sounds like this. So some of these are going to be presets from the first one, and some are going to be presets from the second one. But here's some more of the presets. Sorry, some of these just aren't gonna be in scale because of the way that the first version is compared to the second version. So if you're looking for a steel drum for any kind of ambient music, any kind of chill music, anything like that, you can check out Magic Drum 2 Lite. I'll leave the link for all these below in the description. And now it's the time that a lot of you guys have been waiting for. How can you enter the contest to win a free version of ReverbShaper? No different than most of the other giveaways. All you gotta do is follow the link below. And then follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all that good stuff. And the same with Cable Guys. And each follow will get you an additional entry into the contest. The contest is going to be open until the 13th of November at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will draw the winners of the giveaway on the following news report. So whatever music news report comes on after the 13th of November, that's gonna be when I draw it. So there's no need to ask me in the comment sections or any of that stuff. Just make sure you paid attention to the video. And it's gonna be on the first news report that I do after that. Again, it is free to enter and you will get yourself a copy of ReverbShaper. But that's what I got for you guys today. Make sure if you guys do like this content though, you drop a whole elbow on that like button, hit subscribe and that notification bell so every time we bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. Signing off as your anchor man, SumnSumnSumn. Hit the keys. Until next time, peace.
Some, hit the keys.